Hello everyone, I'm working on the Model T again. I'm taking apart the front suspension. I got this little tie rod off right here, just 2 bolts. I took the wheels off. The wheel bearing is in here. That's what it looks like. These wheel bearings actually screw on, and this is right hand thread, so it's opposite of what it is. So this screws on. Put the wheel on first and this screws on. Then there's a washer and a castle nut that goes on, and a cap that looks like this one. And in order to get those caps off, you need to have this tool that Henry Ford makes. For example, on this Model T, it goes on there. That's what you use to tighten and loosen the center caps on the wheel. So I'll get this all taken apart and I'll show you guys what I have going after that. Alright, I got the front suspension all apart. It really wasn't that difficult. Just took all the bolts loose, mostly with this Milwaukee tool. Took the wishbone apart with that big Milwaukee tool. The wishbone is over here. We'll reuse it, it's in good shape. Sometimes this round part on them gets pretty badly worn. But so far so good. I think next I'm going to start with this, or yeah, I'll probably do that next, and I'll start taking apart the rear end. I just took the wheel off here. It's only held on with 1 nut and a cotter pin. Now how these Model Ts are put together, they use a key on this shaft right here that holds it in. It just slides on and off. There's a lot of brake pads left there. Yeah, it looks pretty good. The wheels just slide off. It's pretty easy. Alright, I'll show you guys how to take off this wheel. One-handed, maybe. Just straighten out the cotter pin. It's difficult using one hand. Maybe we'll reuse that. This nut isn't on here. Shouldn't be on here too tight. Now when I was taking the castle nut off the front wheels, the driver's side front, or passenger side front, was reverse threads. Okay, take that off. On forward wheels you have to have a hub puller that Henry Ford made for these. For whatever reason, the other side, I don't know, didn't have to use it, the wheel just came off. So with this, you have to screw it on all the way. Then you'll use this clamp and clamp it down. Then you'll tighten this bolt and tap on it with the hammer and the wheel should pop off. So I have to put the camera down and you'll be back when I'm done. Alright everyone, I got it loose. Didn't take much. I tightened this down with this wrench, tapped on the end with the hammer, tightened it out some more, tapped on it again with the hammer. Used that, pried on it, and the wheel just came loose. Not too hard when you have the right tools for the job. Okay, I got some more work done on the Model T today. I took off these little pins for the brake rods. I took these bolts loose, take the wheels off. Took those bolts out on both sides I had already taken these nuts loose. Then I took these bolts out for the drive shaft. And then once that happens, you can just pull the drive shaft right out. It's an internal drive shaft in this tube. That's what the end of the gear looks like. We'll get it all cleaned up, see how it really looks, but I think it looks pretty good. Now, this is interesting. I've seen, probably myself, 5 nails today instead of cotter pins. Because back in the day, you didn't buy cotter pins when you could pull a nail out of the barn, fix your car. But anyways, I'll get some more work done and update you guys later. Okay, I'll be dropping the axle here pretty soon. What I did is take these nuts loose and then I put them on backwards so I can tap on them with the hammer without messing up the threads. Then I'll be able to pry that off, and the axle will be on the jack stands there, and the frame will be on these jack stands here. Okay. To this side. Get something to try with. On the Model T, we were removing some bushings. Now, there were some worn out bushings in here. They would press in on that side, in this side of the spindle. So now how we got those out, as you can see, these are some old ones too. We took a tap. What you do is you screw the tap in here. While this is in the spindle, you screw the tap in. Once the tap's solidly screwed in, on that end, you'd put it in the vise, flip it over, then use a punch and punch it out, and they come right out. And then you do the same thing to the other side. Now I don't have any right now. There was a little bushing about this size on this tie rod end of the spindle. Now to get that out, we used a bushing driver tool right here. We'd take this, let's say the bushings here, we put this on the one end of the bushing, and then we tap it in, use the press right here to press it in to get it started. We put it back in the vise, screw the punch end on the tool, and then we hammer it out, and they'd come right out pretty easily. So that's how you get bushings out of a spindle for a Model T. Not terribly difficult, you can do it at home pretty easy. Okay, now over here, here's these other bushings I was telling you about. They'd go right here, and we just pressed them out with the bushing driver. Now these are the old kingpins. You can see pretty worn out looking at the threads, especially this one. You can see the threads right there. They're not there. It's pretty worn out. So that's those. I got these all cleaned up. Treasure box. Now over here, we have these mounts for the leaf springs. There's bushings in here that we pressed out the same way as the spindles. These actually press into the axle here. They are a little egg shaped, but we think we're just going to reuse them. They're still good. They made these things pretty tough. Now for the frame, what I did for most of the day was use this needle gun right here and needle gun the whole frame, because now what we're going to do next is use a wire wheel on the frame and bring it down to bare metal so we can paint it. right here. Shouldn't take too long to wire wheel. Well, we're gonna wire wheel it outside. We don't want to get the nice shop all dirty.